And just huge love and congratulations to the Shalom Center and to Rabbi Arthur. Such respect. And, I do really believe that this crisis of dehumanization, um, of living in a world where there is more than enough, and yet there is complete abandonment amidst this abundance. Um, Whether that's abandoning our principles of love and truth and justice and inclusion, um, or whether that's, people maybe saw in the Washington Post today this article that says that since 1980, basically rich people are living and poor people are dying,
Mm.
and the death rate is actually the better way to look at um, the kind of growth of inequality in our society. And then that's connected to the crises we've been hearing throughout this beautiful night, whether it's the destruction of the world, the earth, and everything that's living in and on it. It's all interconnected, uh, and it's got to stop. And I would be remiss as a Christian preacher to say that this false narrative of white Christian nationalism isn't an absolute crisis. That breeds anti-Semitism, that breeds anti-Blackness, that breeds transphobia, that breeds all types of evil and injustice in the name of a religion that actually lifts up from the bottom so everybody can rise. And so uh, we are living in hard times, but I agree that this evening I feel nothing but love and truth and justice.
Thank you, Reverend Liz. You all have laid the groundwork for what the crisis is, but like any great prophet, we got to see what's coming. What is Olam Haba? What does the world that is coming look like, and what are the ways in which we need to be? What are the spiritual technology for us in order to make a world that relies on the love that we are feeling today, that relies on the dignity and the humanity of all of our peoples. So maybe maybe we'll start with you, Reverend Liz. What's the spiritual technology you got for us tonight?
Well, I think it's to organize and organize and organize. I think it's that to bring about a moral revolution of values. And I think that always happens when people come together and and uh, maybe blow a shofar and declare jubilee, um, and justice and love and truth, and start righting these wrongs and continue righting these wrongs. And so I think the tools that are in the toolkit of resistance and nonviolent civil disobedience and action, and organizing, all of those things and so many more that I learned from the Shalom Center. So
I mean, Rabbi Becky, what you got?
Yeah, maybe I think these are just I think this is just gives organize a little bit of texture, but maybe also from where I'm sitting, as a convener of the Trans Halacha Project, thinking a lot about what it means to tap into ancient wisdom and to take in and really be connected to the spiritual tools that have carried the Israelites through the desert, that have carried the Jewish people through our history, and that will carry us forward. Right? The Midrash teaches that one of the greatest fears is to have us abandon Torah. Right? And so in this moment, we should certainly not abandon Torah. We should grasp it tightly. We should hug it. Like many of us will hug it on Simchat Torah and dance with it so that it doesn't fall, right? And so that it becomes part of our bodies. And, because that ancient wisdom connects us with what my colleague Rabbi Shoshana Friedman calls deep time, right? It connects us to our history and to our future, but also to not hold it so preciously, right? To tap into the tool of creativity and to say we have access to it, that this wisdom is ours to play with and in ways that honor it and uplift it and bring kedusha, bring holiness out into the world, but that we can be creative with it and say like, okay, where are trans people in this Torah? Where is economic justice in this Torah? where is action in Torah? And I mean Torah, KB, you know this about me, right? I mean Torah narrowly defined as a scroll and an arc, and I mean it expansively defined, right, as those experiences, the impactful experiences that get inside of us and change us and transform us. And so that's what I'm thinking about in terms of what's going to carry us through.
I love that. And I'm looking behind you in case folks can't see. Rabbi Becky has a sign. It says, "We the resilient." And it didn't says, "We love you, Daddy." I love that part too. I think that's what that says.
So the one over my shoulder says, "We the Resilients have been here before," and it's a picture of an indigenous elder with his hand raised. And the other one, yeah, says, "We love you, Dada." Right,
I love
tapping
that.
into my parenting role there.
Yes, I love that. And Reverend Liz, you have "We Cry Justice" behind you. And I just can't help but think about the ways in which you both talked about how we have to do this communally, right? That there's the resilience that we're building with each other is happening together. And part of that is the cry of justice. We are crying out for what we need, which is one way in which we are heard. That shofar blast is a cry, and it's a cry for organize, organize, organize. And also, don't we demand that we have dignity. We demand that our humanity is recognized, right, in the ways in which we are talking about poverty and about trans folks and about racism and white supremacy. But I wonder if there's any other things that are kind of in your mind's eye right now that speaks to the resilience that we're building together, and also for this cry of justice. What's coming up for you both?
One thing I just want to add to what I shared before around clinging to Torah is both because it connects us to deep time and brings us to action, and is a place where we can find our values expressed, but also that the study itself, just like the blowing of the shofar, right, is an embodied act of resilience. So is learning, right? And so it's these spiritual tools that both help us embody who we want to be and embody the world to come, and also call us forward. And I think it's important to acknowledge sort of the lishma, the for its own sake, for the sake of the moment that we're in, part of spiritual tools that isn't necessarily about um, political action, isn't necessarily about testimony in a legislature or helping someone meet basic needs, but is about cultivating a self that can be present with each other and with the world. Um, yeah, I'd come. That's it.
That's amazing and beautiful, and it does make me think about this kind of multiple way of crying that happens in our scriptures. That that is a deeply spiritual, rooted in who we must be in this world. Um, and it's a crying out that it's Rachel weeping for her children who are no more, at the same time as pushing back against. It's like a cry of lament, but it's also a cry of what must be, could be, and we must make so. And I think what you were just talking about, Rabbi Becky, that totally connects with all of that, in terms of this rooted in Bible, rooted in Scripture, like this drive for us to cry out for a more just world.